Hello and welcome to another episode of Badman Reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about my first impressions slash basically a review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. And for those who don't want spoilers, my general consensus on the movie is it's good. There's a lot of fan service in the movie, I believe, but it's a good movie and any Star Wars fan will enjoy it. And that's about it for the spoiler-free version. I am about to hop into spoiler stuff coming up, so if you want to leave now. If not, now is your time to listen to the stupid things I have to say about Star Wars. So my personal feelings on this movie are that it's a great addition to the movie, though it doesn't exactly feel right. There's a lot of points in the movie where just how's the best way to put this? There's always something happening. There's never a dull moment where plot gets explained. There's always action happening. There's never time to kind of explain what's going on. Anyone who hasn't really seen Star Wars in the past is gonna be kind of lost. There's a lot going on that isn't really explained between the Empire and the Republic and the Rebellion and what's really happening after the end of Episode 6 and the defeat of the Sith and the turning of Darth Vader. There's just a lot that's going on that really isn't explained well enough, especially since it takes place a decent amount into the future. There's a lot going on that we don't really understand. Either that or I just didn't pick up on it. So the basic premise is that Luke has disappeared and no one knows where he is, and the Rebellion is currently trying to find where he is. No, sorry, not the Rebellion. The Resistance is currently trying to find where he is. Now, they've gotten a piece of a map that shows where he is. And the whole point of the movie is to get this map back to the Resistance so they can find Luke. Now, the reason why Luke has kind of disappeared, which at first made no sense to me, I was like, why would Luke disappear? The world's saved. He was awesome. Whatever. Why did he leave? Well, once Luke finished and saved the universe, sort of, not exactly yet, he decided to take a bunch of trainees in and start training them to become the next generation of Jedi. And, well, one of them turned on him and ended up going to the dark side, which messed with Luke, and Luke decided to go seclude himself on some ancient planet where he was trying to find the origin of Jedi, the origin of the dark side and the good side, the light and the dark and the Force, and, well, he found his way there. The person who turned on him ends up being Han Solo's son, which, it was a decent plot twist. It was kind of foreseen. There's the thing about these Jedi plot twists that they pull in this movie is that there's really only, like, I am your father. There's only two people who could be his father. It is either Luke or it's Han. Like, that is it. Luke was the only Jedi left besides Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan is dead. Yoda is dead. So it's Luke or Leia. And seeing as I'm assuming it wasn't Luke's, like, it could have been Luke's, but it ended up being Han. The return of Han and Chewie was played well. They played amazing roles, and the movie seems to take a more comedic style than the past movies did, which works out well. There's a lot of funny moments, and the little tiny B-118 or whatever robot that I thought was totally going to be annoying in the movie and I was going to hate. I don't know why. I just saw the trailers and I was like, I'm going to hate that thing. I ended up loving him. He was hilarious. He was well written. He was well used in the movie. He was basically just the comedic effect of the movie. He was the, look kids, this is funny, buy the toy kind of character, and surprisingly it worked well. Much better than Jar Jar. So that works out surprisingly well, thankfully. Now, for those of you who do know, Han is now dead. My girlfriend is totally distraught over this and is very upset by it. Seeing as Han was her favorite character. It needs to happen. A lot of these older characters are going to get killed off, and I'm not surprised if we're going to see the death of Luke in the later movies. And probably, like, I think the only one who may survive is Leia, but I think we may also see the death of Leia. Just because these characters are getting old, and we kind of need an ending with them to know kind of what's happened to them. Are they going to die, or how are they going to die? We need a kind of conclusion with these older characters. So, yeah, we're going to see these older characters that we love probably die. Which in general sucks, but it has to happen. And I believe Han's death was very well put. It was very well designed. It was very well done. He wanted to turn his son back. He believed he could. It seemed like he had a chance, and straight through the stomach. You're dead, brah. You're dead, brah. Brah, you're dead. Yeah, so that was fairly upsetting. Surprisingly, what I loved was, out of all the plot twists, was the fact that the female character is actually the Jedi. From a lot of the trailers, they tried to portray Finn as being the Jedi, as the badass guy who's going to be the new Jedi. And it ended up being totally opposite. Finn was just kind of there, and yeah, he had a lightsaber at points and times, but he wasn't the Jedi, and he didn't really know how to use it. While, I don't even remember her name, actually, the main girl is now our main Jedi, which is sweet to see a female Jedi, which I really like. So that was a great plot twist that I just didn't expect. They played off really well, and it kind of turned out for the best. I thought it was a great thing that they did. They tried to portray Finn in the trailers as the Jedi, and it worked well. It surprised me. And with the internet nowadays, it's hard to get a good surprise in. The other thing I really loved is that a lot of the plot points were finished. I was afraid that once they found the map and they found where Luke was and everything was good and dandy and they destroyed the giant-ass Death Star, that it would just end there and they'd be happy, and then we'd have to wait and they'd be like, now let's go find Luke, yay! And then it would end and we'd have to wait to the next movie to go out and find Luke, and it'd be a big adventure to go find Luke. But thankfully, at the end of the movie, it's just straight up like, they leave, they go to the planet, and they find Luke, and that's where it ends. Luke turns around, we get to see Mark Hamill's old-ass face, and that's how the movie ends. And I was really, really happy with that. I was glad there was nothing really left hanging, none of, like, the super cliffhangers that, make us basically want to kill ourselves for 2 years until the next movie comes out. It was nice. It was really nice that they didn't leave us on any cliffhangers like that. The movie really just kind of ends itself. It's secluded, and there's not really too much left over for the next movie. The next movie, yeah, will take from where this movie left off, but it's not like Halo's 2 ending where you're on a spaceship and you're like, let's finish the fight. Or, yeah. It's not like that. It's a secluded movie with its own ending, and we're not going to be waiting 2 years to figure out the conclusion of this movie, which is great. I was so glad they did that. I would have been really upset otherwise. But overall, I believe it's a great movie. It's definitely better than the first three. Sadly, I have to say the first movie is still one of my favorites. I don't know why. It's probably just all nostalgia with the fact that I watched it when I was a kid like a million times. But this movie is definitely really good. It's definitely better than the first 1, 2, and 3. I can't really say if it's better than 4, 5, or 6. I don't believe I have the authority in how well I know movies and Star Wars to be able to state that, but I believe it was a good movie. I believe all of the plot twists were done well. I believe that the story was written well, besides a few points where it's kind of hard to understand what's currently happening in the galaxy of Star Wars and what's kind of happening and what hasn't happened with the Rebellion and the Republic and just all that kind of government stuff that was explained really well in 4, 5, 6, but just kind of in 1, 2, 3 even, but isn't really explained at all in this movie. And there's a lot of fan service. It's a lot of like, look, we're Star Wars 4 again. Look, we have a big Death Star. Look, we have lightsaber battles. They're cool. Look, remember this? Remember Han Solo? Remember Luke Skywalker? Look, fan service. Have it. Eat it. Yes, love our movie. There's a lot of that. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of fan service in the movie. But the effects look great. The music is spot on Star Wars all the time. The graphics are surprisingly well done. Not too much CG, enough practical effects. It's kind of Mad Maxy where it's a mix of practical and CG, and it works perfectly together, and it looks great throughout the whole movie. There isn't a part where you're like, wow, that looks stupid. And even though the big Death Star thing is kind of cliche, it works and it's cool, especially when you do get to see it go off and blow up like 5 planets at once compared to the old Death Star, and seeing like the size comparison between the old Death Star and the new one. It's really cool, and like the explanation of how that machine works, by like absorbing the power of the sun and then using the power of the sun once it goes out to... I talked for too long and my recording ended. My DSLR can only record for 10 minutes. And seeing it suck up the sun and then the sun disappear and it be able to like shoot out again, it was sweet. And as a lighting designer, a lot of the lighting effects in the movie are amazing, especially the fight between Kylo Ren and Finn, where they're like just super up close with the lightsabers and you can just see the lightsabers glowing on each other's faces, and it looks so good. Also, Ren's face, like he does a mask reveal. Obviously you guys have seen this because this is the spoiler review, but he's ugly, dude. I do not like his face. I would have loved it if when he took off the face, because she's just like, take off your mask. It's hard talking to a scary monster with the mask on. He takes off his mask. I expect her to be like, I liked you better with the mask on. I would have laughed so hard if she said that. It would have been hilarious, because he's not the most pretty looking guy. I can say that for sure. But I'm interested to see what they do with the rest of the series, how they entwine Mark Hamill and Luke back into the story, see who this new Jedi's father is, whether it's Luke or it's Han. I'm assuming it's going to be Luke. It wouldn't make much sense if it was Han. I'm pretty sure he would have been able to tell it was his daughter, and I don't know why he would give his daughter away in the first place when she was probably the same age as Ren. So I'm assuming it's going to be Luke's daughter, especially since the lightsaber was calling to her, Luke's saber. It would make the most sense if she was Luke's daughter. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with all those characters, and yeah, that's about it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Again, I think it's a good movie. A lot of fan service, not a lot of background story given, but it is a good, fun movie to go out and see, and if you're a Star Wars fan, definitely don't miss it. It's completely obvious. You should know this. Don't miss it. Until the next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.